Hello there, good morning and welcome. It's Sunday, it is the 20th of February, we're still in 2022, and I'm saying that because we're barely 2 months through it, nearly 2 months through it, but goodness gracious. Yeah, it's crazy wet and windy still here. It's not as windy as it was a couple of days ago, but we've got a weather warning for high winds again today. And this rain, it's really strong. And the wind's due to get worse towards the afternoon. So I thought I'd start my day. Well, I've been awake for a little bit. I sat drawing in bed for a while. And you can see the results of that here on my page in front of me. Not everything was done first thing this morning. I've been working on these over a day or so. And this is just for fun. It's not my usual kind of art, as you know. But who knows what's going to appear here, because I have a pen at the ready. But it's the perfect day to stay in warm, to enjoy being creative. And I do have a project to do a bit later on. I'm just going to have a slurp of tea. So I've had breakfast, but I haven't finished my tea yet. So I'll get there. So yeah, I've been doodling for a couple of days. I'll show you another page or so. Let me put it the right way up. This is my sketchbook, and for some strange reason I've decided I wanted to work on it in landscape format because, well, why not? And I've got no idea why robot-y type things have appeared. But the original page full of these was here, which are far more doodly and cute. So I've gone from this rather strange collection, well, they're all strange collections, where I've actually added colour here with alcohol markers. That's why there's stains on the other page, because the alcohol markers do show through this paper. But I had a lot of fun drawing these, and I thought, oh, let's have a look and see if I can go to something a bit weirder, and off I went. I say weirder, perhaps a bit more realistic, and then yeah, these were the next ones. Oops, sorry, I've just bashed my camera. These were the next ones. And adding colour makes all of a difference. If you look at this one compared to, say, this or these, suddenly they come to life with colour. I say this often because I often don't use a lot of colour in my drawings, do I? It's all black and white, and sometimes with shades of grey. And if I'm doing fragments or tangle explorations, I might throw some colour in, or motif explorations, bit of colour in. But I'm having a lot of fun with these. I blame it on watching some makers channels. That's what I'm going to blame it on. I'm going to blame it on Bill Makes Stuff, I think, more than anything. It's his fault. It's not really. It's just every now and again I go off in a different direction. And yeah, there's a bird here. Yes, I know. I'm also drawing birds at the moment, but that's for a different purpose. So these are what I've been drawing this morning, and it's sort of like working out how to add some shadow and highlight as well to these. But I'm just going to see what happens. So, and have a bit of a witter for a bit with you, if that's okay, because I'm in a wittery mood. I will go quiet as I draw, because my brain can't cope with drawing and talking often, but we'll see what happens. So yesterday I have to apologise again, because I managed to completely mess up when it came to uploading the video for some reason, and I still don't understand how or why. I uploaded Friday's video again as if it was Saturday's. I've now sorted that. You can't re-upload a video or change the video you've uploaded on YouTube. If I do this on my blog and I upload the wrong image, or I want a different image there, it's easy enough for me to alter and edit that. Not with YouTube. Actually, same with Instagram. If you upload something wrong, you've got to delete the post and start again. And I'm known to do that as well. I think my brain gets to a point where it just goes, yep, this'll compute, this'll do, and I don't always check. So I do apologise. I have now got definitely the right video up for the day, for yesterday. I will try to remember to double check and triple check that I'm uploading the right video, which is daft because I always name them and date them sensibly. It just must have been one of those things. I was in a particularly wittery and, ditzy mood yesterday anyway, so there is no hope for me. Not much better today, to be honest. So that's my apologies. My gratitude today, because it's always nice to express my gratitude, is my huge thanks to those of you who have subscribed, both long-term subscribers, because I'm sure I have a few who've been with me for quite a while now, and to those who are new. And if you're very new, as in you've decided to subscribe after you watch me witter and draw today, then I welcome you very, very much. I really do. If it wasn't for you, I really would be talking to myself. Probably. Which I tend to do a lot of anyway. I live alone and, my opportunities for conversation these days are pretty limited as my anxiety, my social anxiety has gone up. And when I'm anxious, I witter about rubbish. I don't really have meaningful conversations. I just talk endlessly. Not that I'm nervous now, but I'm talking to myself. Well, I'm not. I'm talking to you, but I'm still talking to myself. But I appreciate each and every one of you as I do the likes for my videos. I appreciate that very, very much. It shows me I'm on the right track for things that are interesting, because sometimes I'll put something up like this today. This may not be of any interest to any of my usual viewers, or it may do because it's drawing. And I'll explain a bit about what I'm doing possibly. But it's where I'm very grateful that you are here, that you return and watch what I'm doing. And I think it's fabulous that you do that. And I'm always amazed that people find this combination of random wittering and drawing interesting. It is what it is. This is me. So if I try and explain, I'm just here. I'm just starting with something. It doesn't matter what it is I start with. I'm just going to draw a random shape. And from there, I'm going to build onto it and add things. You will recognise that a lot of the shapes and the way that lines move and how I join things together are very typical of me. Some aren't. Let's be honest, you won't see things like tripods, legs, or claws, or wheelie robots, or tank tracks. And I realised these look like, you can work out for yourself. So I decided that instead of having destruction coming out the end, I'd have bubbles, because I like bubbles, and bubbles are pretty and cause no harm. Not in my world. So I am conscious of that, because I'm not into things that are inherently destructive. I prefer constructive, but that's me. And that comes from a Star Wars fan. Yeah, I know. I'm in it for the story, for the mythos, more than anything else, I think. So it's I've got the opportunity to blend and put things together in a different way. About a year ago, a lot of my drawing had quite Aztec and Maya-y, Mesoamerican art motifs and style in it. And I think I'd been looking at books and things on that, or I'd seen it again somewhere, perhaps my Pinterest board I'd browsed through. and something just stuck in my head, and there was a lot of that coming out. And I suppose this is just kind of an extension of that in many ways, is that it's just using the shapes, the motifs, the lines, the way lines move, and how I put things together, but in a different way to create something that's a bit different. That's a very strange shape here, but I think I know what I'm going to do. Yeah. Put an axle through it, and we've got a trundly wheel. I think the lesson from all of this is, please do not let me, do not ever think about allowing me to design anything mechanical, any vehicle shape or anything like that, because really, it's not a good idea. But it could be fun. Could be. Maybe. So I do enjoy things like this. It's not something I do very often, I have to say. As, briefs for work are usually quite narrow, but I think it's because I've been working on Doodleworlds stuff for a little while that you know, there's always that need for something a bit different in there, or something, you know, that is really quite different. This, I'd love to reproduce this for people to colour in and see what they come up with and give it a landscape, for example. That is my favourite one. It's weird. It's my favourite. It's mad. But then some of these others as well I rather like. I love this one that's almost skating along. It's a very mechanical bird. See the bird's got in there? But yeah, it's very carefree. Instead of flying, it's flying. Instead of flying through the air, it's flying along the ground. And I don't know what this one's doing. Oh yeah, it's got a tray coming out of its nose. It's carrying some drinks on it. Because, well, why not? And we've got a wheel on the bottom. How do they keep balance? So it's gyroscopic, isn't it? Gyroscopic motors, no doubt. And it's, you know, things of my imagination, so they can have some mystical power imbued in them to allow them to remain at the top. This one, I think, would want to do, you know, that thing that people used, you know, like, I can remember, there's probably older members of the family coming up to me when I was a little kid, or other people, and they come up behind you and they put their hands on your head and they scratch with your fingers and it feels weird. Or like an egg cracked on your head, you know, that kind of thing. I think that's what the purpose of this robot is for, or for Indian head massage, perhaps. It can give you a nice massage. Doesn't need any other tool. That's its sole purpose in life. No other arms required. Just a stand. And perhaps this stand has got a wheel underneath or something so it can move. This one, I think, is more or less done. I do. It's going to enhance the feeling that we've got a lovely chunky thing there. What's this? It could be a mouth, it could be a light. I don't know. All from, I grew out from eyes here. Sometimes it's a case of just seeing where my hand wants to go and what shape it will produce. When I say that, I mean my mind has some kind of say in it. I'm not entirely sure often how much of a say. As I'm talking and I'm not aware of any thoughts going on in my head. There must be, because I often stop when I'm drawing. Like there, to stop and think, or perhaps to observe what I'm doing. But I find it all quite a lot of fun. That too. That'll be quite nice. That's a nice shape. And I did decide I wanted this to try and meet up with where this shape would go, as if there's something around it. Have a look here and see what I can do in terms of patterns here. Problem with working with pen is that it can be difficult then to adjust the shapes. Like this, I would love to have as, you know, a curved outside edge, like they're all curving together, like a shell almost. But because I've worked in pen, I can't do that. But if I ever decide to redraw this or to use that idea again, I now know what to do, is to use a pencil. And this at the top needs something as well, I think. So perhaps I'll pop a couple like that on there. That looks quite nice. And that's how I'd have wanted them here. That's fine. Okay. I'm trying to work out how and where I can add the next bits that I'd like to. Now, this is something that will need working at. All of these things would do, but they're all a starting point. And if I work with them, I can work with what are called iterations, where you draw things and alter them a little bit. Or as you redraw them, you do the things that you wanted to do in the first place. And I'm likely to want to change some of the lines that I've drawn and create something a bit different. Like here, it'd be nice to have full wheels there with hubs on, but I'm getting the basic shape in place here. Looks a bit like a weird scooter, doesn't it? Your footplate there to stand on. I'm going to pop that there, even though I've put it outside the lines, as if we've got something like an eye on the side to see what's going on. So there we are. I think I'll leave that one as it is, because I can't see what I'd like to do here more now. What I thought I'd do as well is I'll spend some time, because I have been adding shadows with straight colours, but I wanted to have a look at what happens if I use a graphite pencil. So I've got a 4B pencil here. Correct. Can I just rephrase what I just said? I want to see how pencil shadows work underneath the Ecoline brush pens that I've been using to add colour. Yep, I'm adding colour. So I'm going to add one to this one, add some shadows to these, and I'm working on keeping the shadows to the left and the bottom, but also thinking about where shapes overlap, because there would be a shadow where they overlap. So here there's no real overlapping. This sticks further forward than this one, but this one will be in shadow because it's back and behind this one. It's just thinking logically about where things are. And this one I'd rather like this to have some shadow as well. This one would have quite a lot. That one. So I can add shadow to the sides and enhance the feel of volume. And because these are sort of, metallic or made out of bits and pieces, perhaps even made out of junk, I'm not too bothered about having very smooth shading. So even though I've picked up a paper stump or a tortillon in my hand, then I'm not going to actually use it because I've got very small spaces here to work within, and B, I don't think I want this all that smooth. So we go. So look here. See, it's a question of let me rephrase what I'm doing, sort of. I'm kind of trying to imagine that I've got a light roughly from I suppose where I'm looking at it, so more or less from front on, more or less. I am using the sort of like what would be in shadow would be the parts of this that are further away from me. So with these curved shapes, the bottom bit and the top bit would be further away from me. So if I add shadow to those, then that starts instantly to give a feeling of this being curved. With this eye, I think I want some shadow here to try and create it like a donut shape. And this one, I think I'm going to do the same and just pop some shadow at the bottom. This is just going to have a little bit of reflected shadow. There'll be shadow in there. These would have shadow, a lot of shadow from what's above. The darker the shadow, the further back it feels as well. Further back your eye thinks it is. There. And I will pop a little bit of shadow on my bubbles. What the heck? It's a robot bubble gun. Bubble gun, not bubble gum. I'll just dispose of that thing. I have got here a water brush. I know I've got on my desk a cloth that I can wipe this off on to clean it up. And I did dig out a number of colours that I particularly like to use, or I thought would look rather good with this. So I've got here this Ecoline, this one's bluish green. And the lovely thing about this is these Ecoline pens are water soluble or watercolour inks inside, so they will move with water. And I'm putting some of the colour along the darkest side because any that sticks to the paper will remain there. And yeah, I did add some here, and I'm going to, it spread out in what water there was, so I'm just going to add a bit more. So again, you add more if you want a darker colour, and I thought that one was perhaps just a little bit insipid. I'm just hoping that the grey underneath will show through, which it should do because this stuff is, the inks are transparent. So if I do that compared to, say, this little one I've just drawn, with no pencil shadow on, no, I don't know if you even saw me draw it, I hope you did. I'm not checking on the camera again, am I? That's a little bit here. I really could do with my palette out, I think. Because this is really quite a strong colour on this one, and I do want to pick some of this up, which is a question of using a damp brush, wetting it and just allowing myself to pick some of that colour up, or at least move it around. That's perhaps a bit better. So it does darken the colour quite a lot, so that's quite a nice thing. Okay, the next one I'm going to use is Scarlet, but for this one, instead of putting this colour on the page, I'm going to use it just to add a tiny bit to the base of my brush here. So instead of using a palette where I control how much colour I pick up, I can do it this way. So I'll do a little bit on this one, perhaps here. And yeah, I can add more colour where I want shadow. But it's not as noticeable as this. It gives it quite a metallic and quite a grungy kind of feeling as well. So let me make all of these sort of like ridges here, all this scarlet red. I'd just like a bit more red on them just to bring that red out. So I'll try and keep all of this in shot. I'm not going to say I'm going to. I'm working in a A4 sketchbook. I think I'll pop some red on this one just there. This one, I think I'd like this to be red as well. And I'm just going to add a little bit more red here, leave a little highlight there. The other way I've added shadow is with these lines, so let's have a look at that and see how that works with colour. It gives it an old sort of like etched or would, yeah, etched more than anything feel. I haven't been very good at adding the lines. As in I haven't got a lot of them or detailed in any way, but they do work. I'm just adding colour so it's darker where the shadows are, more colour there, more intense, helps to enhance those kinds of colours as well. This, I'm struggling with this water brush. I'm keeping it clean, and I know I've got still a bit of water left in my jar. That's okay. It's got a fair amount of what's the word I'm looking for? Iridescent paint in. It really does need to clean out. This has become my favourite colour for adding shadows. It really has. This is sepia. Sort of like it's a lovely brown colour, and it fades out so wonderfully. It really, really does. There's just something lovely about this. I never would have thought I'd said I really like a sepia colour. I do need a little bit more on these sides, so I'm just going to dot some down. Being very delicate today. Wasn't quite so delicate with all of my other drawings that I've added colour to. But today's a day, I think, for delicacy. So if I do the same kind of thing here, I like to do this so I've got a comparison myself. I can look back on these and I can look and see, oh yeah, well that worked nicely. Well, that's a good idea. I like that. Because you'd know if you followed me long enough, but if you don't know, I'm not a fan of using graphite pencils to add shadows to things like Entangled drawings. I just feel it always looks dirty and grungy, and I like a cleaner look. Chalk pastels work a bit better for me as well, but I tend to, I'm learning that the graphite pencils actually work really nicely underneath colour. They give an effect that I quite like. I like pen cross hatching or contour lines like I've got with this one, because that works nicely, and when you've got colour the lines seem to disappear a bit more into the background, especially if you make the colour darker over those lines, like here. But something I need to work on a bit more, perhaps. But I really do like this sepia. It gives such an old kind of feeling to this. It really aged and vintage almost. Perhaps even a tad steampunk, though these couldn't ever be described as steampunk. Angela punk, maybe. I can't even do mean looking robots, for goodness sakes. Everything I do is cute and cuddly. that is just, that, this makes my heart happy. I found a way I can add some shadow and highlight with pens and pencils. I found a way that works for me. And there's this little one here that I've been adding colour to. Let's just add some of this teal colour as well. Yeah, darker on the edges. That'd be quite nice. Just that hint for now. With these I can also use spots of metallic colours, because I think the metallics would be lush for some of these buttons and doodads that we've got on them. That does look rather lovely. One last bit. It's my indigo. I think I might actually use Prussian blue, because I do like things that, have a look here. This one's very juicy. It puts down an awful lot of ink in one go. Some of them are still like that because they're still relatively new. I haven't used much in the way of colour from any of them really. This Prussian blue is lush. I think you can see how the colour will run into the water and spread itself out quite nicely. It's actually what I really would like. I'll run the blue up into this brown, so I think we'll have a stripe going around. That works really quite nicely. Here there would be some shadow. Pop some at the top, but I'll work with my brush to get this moved around with this one. Okay, let me have a look. Let me just pick some water up, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some water in the centre to push the colour away, and use the power of watercolour, water soluble things, because water will push them away. And I did that there. I noticed that the graphite really shone through there. So there we are, joined with me for some of my doodly robots today. I hope you've enjoyed this. It's something a bit different. It's Sunday, so if I do a video on Sunday, it's likely to be something like this. I have got work to do today. I'm working on a phoenix for somebody, and I've got the colouring to finish, but I've got a meeting to go to before that. So it's a bit of a weird day for me today. So I'm going to ask you to look after yourselves, take care of yourselves, and be creative. And I hope you've enjoyed this. Something a bit different. It's me being creative for the sake of being creative, for having a bit of fun and so on. You want to name any of these robots, feel free, leave a comment. I'm quite happy for people to suggest what they are or what they could be. I'll give them names, you know. We know robots often get names, you know. Star Wars comes to mind with, you know, R2-D2, C-3PO and Dio and all the others that we've come across. But you know, so yeah. Right, I'm going now. I need more tea, and I've got to get myself ready for the meeting I've got to go to in a while. So look after yourselves. Keep warm or cool, depending on where in the world you are, but always find time to be creative. So until I see you again, take care for now. Bye-bye. Bye.